Welcome to Open Up and Say Ha, stories from underneath the paper gown.
Hi,
Hi, how you doing,
it's
Ellie?
nice to see you.
Great to see you yet
It's been a
again.
minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been so long. It's not been long at all. Ellie, uh, uh,
Yes.
what's going on with you this week? Got any good stories about stuff with your body or someone else's body or whatever?
I've been talking about other people's bodies a lot lately because I'm sick of my own. Uh
Mm,
oh, how do I put this gently? A child that I know.
okay,
Like I don't want to
sure.
talk about my own child, right? Because he's getting older and like if he
Yeah, we have to
hears
be
this or
careful with
listens here.
that. Yeah,
So a child that I know was
sure.
having an itchy bottom. And
Mm,
itchy butts are a fact of life of childhood.
yeah,
There's all kinds of reasons why a person could have an itchy butt. Maybe you didn't wipe well, maybe you didn't shower well,
maybe you got worms.
maybe you got worms, maybe you've got any number of things. I had an itchy butt a lot as a kid. My mom would give me Tux, medicated pads. They lasted. They were effective for basically like the instant the thing contacts your
Yeah,
butthole. You're like, ooh, tingles, ooh, relief, and then you just feel like you have a cold, wet pad stuck up your butt and you want
yeah,
to get it the fuck out.
yeah.
So this child in question was
Hmm.
taken to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician took a look at the child's anal
Butthole.
area. Yeah, and proclaimed that the child had anal strep, streptococcus of the
Of the
ane.
butthole.
Did you know that was a thing?
Not until this moment. No, no.
So, like, swabbed the throat because I guess apparently, like, if you have throat strep and you like touch your mouth and then you touch your butt, you can get butt strep. But this
Oh my
child did not test positive for throat strep. Just
Uh-huh. Just butt
and
strap.
I will say
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pediatrician of the child in question simply eyeballed the area and said this looks like anal strep. So then the child was treated for anal strep,
Uh-huh.
but the child this often happens like when you take a car to the place and it makes the noise for a second but then it like doesn't make the noise the next day and
Hmm.
maybe you anyway the child's itching went away. The child's itching had been lasting for a few days and then went away pretty much the next
I'm
day.
getting like put the lotion in the basket vibes from you every time you talk about the
The
child.
child, I just don't want to name the poor child. But anyway, the point is
Hmm.
we're going to remove the child from the
We're
situation.
getting to the point. The point is
I
coming
the point is simply that anal strep.
is a
This is
thing.
a PSA. You can have butt strep. You
Okay.
can get streptococcus of the butt. And if you have a dark red ring around your asshole, that's what
Hmm.
it could be. It could be strep and you need to treat it. So I just, you live, you learn. You live, you learn. The older I get, the more I get schooled on the weird ways our bodies can betray us.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
anal strep is betrayal number 1694.
Should we begin a list? Should we begin a
I,
body, but it could be the body betrayal list.
sure. Wait,
This
will
is
it have illustrations?
1194.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sure.
don't Google it. It's
Sure.
not cute.
I'm not going to. I never was going to. You didn't have to give me that warning.
I always Google though, Julie. I always
Okay.
Google image
Well,
a
for
thing.
you,
And but no, for I do it
yes. No,
and
you're right.
as
Always.
I'm doing it, I
Yes.
know I shouldn't do it. As
And
I
you do
do
it
it,
anyway.
I know I'm going to see something I can never unsee and I'm going to see the worst version of the thing
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's what the people put on the internet and
Of
that's what gets the
course.
most views. So
Yeah.
like anal strep, it could be like a very light pink ring or it could be a fucking nightmare of a picture and I've seen
Yeah.
that picture and I'm
Yeah.
telling you, don't go looking for it.
I
Or do if
no,
that's your
the warning
thing.
has been received. Thank you. I'm not going to do that. I appreciate that. Thanks for the warning.
What about you? How's your anal?
My anal is good. My
Good.
butthole is pretty good right now.
Love that for you.
However, remember that story about how you were talking about your husband and his reabsorption of his
His tooth
tooth?
resorption. Yes.
Yes, right. So I thought I would just stick with the reabsorption theme
Uh-huh.
and talk to you about the fact that I have something called distal clavicle osteolysis. I don't know if
I
I've ever
don't
told you about
know.
this. No,
Say
it's
it again.
distal. I'm reading it because I can't remember it. Distal clavicle osteolysis.
I had a teacher named that.
I bet you did. Did you
No, I
call her
didn't.
DCO for short?
No, but tell me about this. What the fuck is this?
Jesus Christ. Okay, so it's my right clavicle. Let's just go through the medical terms. All right. So distal meaning the furthest part away on the clavicle. So for me, it's the tip of my clavicle, which is like right about in here. It's eroding and reabsorbing. This is a condition that's common most in 20-year-old boys. And I call them boys because their frontal lobes aren't fully developed yet.
Fair.
20-year-old boys who are weightlifters.
Oh,
I am not when I was diagnosed with this, I was not weightlifting, nor was I a boy. And this is the thing that's happening to me, and I've been working to correct it. It's because of the way that essentially it's because of the way that my shoulder articulates within the joint, because I have a winging scapula. It's like all out of whack. And for me, pretty sure it's from doing push-ups, like the way that I was doing push-ups. It doesn't matter. The point is I have a thing.
with a name.
It's with a name, and it's annoying, and it causes me pain from time to time. And I'm not quite healed. I've been like dealing with this for years. And every once in a while, like I will be actually lifting weights and I'm like, fuck this shoulder. So I have to make sure I don't do things in a particular way to aggravate it. But fucking hell, it's really annoying. It's really annoying, Ellie.
I have a theory.
Tell me.
As part of your perimenopausal hormonal treatments,
Mhm.
you have taken some testosterone, and I think the testosterone has turned you into a 20-year-old weightlifting male.
You know, if only I were taking testosterone when the problem started,
Then I would be
then
like
it
a
would have
genius.
it would have some weight to this weightlifting
Right. But no, it's not that.
hypothesis.
Also, we don't want to spread
No.
the disinformation that
No.
taking testosterone could cause that. I was being
Absolutely not.
funny.
You're
I
fun.
was
You were
being
so
funny.
funny.
Cool.
Who's on the show today, Ellie? Let's get on with this. This is
Yeah, today we have a friend of mine, Wali Collins, who I met doing corporate entertainment things.
Yeah,
Like, what's the word for that? I don't know.
You do these corporate functions, and you kind of MC.
Like for big pharma, and like
Yeah.
sometimes we're hired to be like co-hosts. Sometimes we've like played characters. And anyway, Wally is a well-known comedian throughout the country, and should be really fun to talk to. I can't wait to hear what he has to say.
Same. Looking forward to it. Wali Collins is an award-winning corporate comedian, actor, producer, and author. He is also curator at Lincoln Center for a show called Jokes and Jazz. You can check out his book available on Amazon called You Never Know, Book of Encouragements. Wali also uses a washcloth in the shower. So do I, Wali. You're not alone. That is key information, Wali. And now everyone is picturing you naked. Sorry about that. Sorry we did that. Welcome to
He
the
did
show,
that on
Wali.
purpose. He did it on purpose.
Oh, that again. See me naked in the shower. Oh, that again.
Oh, that again. There's like a whole YouTube channel of that. Boring. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Not boring, not boring.
So, Wally, I told Julia about how we met, but I feel like listeners are going to be into it. Okay. So I'm just going to briefly share. People.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, people may or may not know that there is like a whole world of corporate entertainment where companies hire comedians or actors to try and make their sales meetings or internet content more entertaining. So Wally and I have been paired together more than once to do this for big pharmaceutical companies that we are not allowed to mention for legal reasons. But we've played everything from like what would you say it was like a Kelly Ripa Michael Strahan duo?
Yeah.
We did that, and then we were like a pair of secret agents one time. They're very bizarre bonding experience.
I'm getting, you know what I'm getting like the office vibes where they go on like the retreat. This is like towards the end of the
I know what you're saying. This is more picture like a convention center and a big auditorium.
I'm just saying the vibe.
Yes, like between us, yes, perhaps.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love that we have this history, and I'm so excited that we get to chat again here in this safe space with no legal team telling us what we can and cannot say. That was a little scary at times.
It's tricky. It's very tricky.
Especially with you, because you like to improv, and it's not always going to be the cleanest or most appropriate. Me neither. I'm filthy.
Well, see, that's one of the challenges that I enjoyed was that, basically you're entertaining people at work.
Right.
And so you can't be like
you can't say fuck.
No, right. You can. That's the extreme, right? But even like you can't talk about religion. You couldn't,
Right.
You had to be careful about body parts.
Yeah.
So yeah, and even sometimes like certain ailments, so to speak, if someone has like high blood pressure or someone has diabetes, whatever, we couldn't make jokes about that. So it's a very, very tight and very, very confined area where you can kind of like go and have fun. You know?
Right.
And I enjoyed that challenge because sometimes I like, go skirt the edge a little bit, and try to like throw out a little innuendo, but not to the point where they're like, all right, you're canceled, or,
You're
because
fired.
I'm representing me and, the other comedians and, the agency, and the production company, the producers too.
That's right. You're very good at it. It's hard.
Yeah, I imagine lots of boundaries.
Just in Ellie's defense, so they give us teleprompter, and sometimes they'll change script or whatever, and change the words or whatever. And I need like probably a month to read it. This woman, she said, I love it. They'll throw something in there and they'll give like this terminology, that the medical whatever. They're like, Wally, read this. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, he would just like point. Sometimes we would have script that was his lines, but if it on the prompter, if it came up and it was like a complicated pharmaceutical term or name of a drug, he would just point at me and I would just say it. And I think they loved that. I think it worked out just great, which is why we're a good team.
Well, and why you and I are a good team, because we have the same dynamic here. You are good. You pronounce big words really good.
Oh yeah.
Really
Yeah.
good.
And like you're really good at pronouncing like people's names who might have interesting spellings.
Sure.
You just like right out of your mouth, and I'm like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Everyone
Ellie's
has
so great. We love her.
Everyone has a place, you guys. Everyone has their own skills. We're all of value. Everyone's a value.
Totally. Wally.
Yes.
Before we get into this, what kind of patient are you? Are you someone who's like scared of doctors, or someone who shows up with a list of questions and prepared, or like so what kind of patient are you?
I'm a nervous patient. My pressure goes up.
Okay.
Because I don't want to hear, I'm pregnant, something like that.
Sure.
So
that would be shocking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's why my pressure will go up. Yeah. I'm nervous, and I would tell, when you check your vitals before the doctor comes in, whatever, I would tell them that, listen, I'm very nervous, and because they'll do my blood pressure. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, no, I'm just really nervous. So I really have to get like really zen and like, I have to check my breathing and like, okay, here we go, And the crazy thing is that my mother was a nurse practitioner, and but she'll get like really with her kids, she'll get really nervous, make sure everything's fine, whatever. So I would get that anxiety, like, oh my God, I got some kind of disease or whatever. And so I think that kind of like in the back of my head is like, oh God, don't be sick, don't be nothing be wrong with me, nothing. But then I panic.
So it sounds like it's all about the anticipation of what you're going to be told, like you're pregnant.
Yeah, exactly.
You were wired for this as a child, and now it's translated into your interactions with medical practitioners.
Right, especially if I'm sitting there, waiting, and that's my mind kind of goes, oh man, even though this is just a checkup, they might find something else, and then it turns into, and I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
Go to a Zen place, think about what you're gonna do after this. I have to do something to kind of like, I guess, get my mind up, but distract me, I guess.
Recenter.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So Wally's an anxious patient, Ellie. Anxious.
Okay. Well, knowing that, I can't wait to hear this story, which is titled When I Got Stoned.
Okay. So it happened twice. The first time was in 2014. It was a Sunday morning, and I woke up very queasy, and which I thought was really weird. That's very strange. And ran into the bathroom and I purged, so to speak. And thought that was really weird because it wasn't food poisoning. I know it wasn't food poisoning because usually when you have food poisoning, you get it like, like maybe a couple hours, you start purging, I guess, a couple hours.
Surprise vomit is the absolute worst.
Yes. And so that's when I started panicking, and I'm like, what is this? Why am I? Then I got this pain in my back, my back. And I thought that was really, really strange, right? And it was just, oh my goodness. It felt like, the best way I can describe it is someone taking like a clamp and just squeezing and squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And just when you feel it's gonna like lighten up just a little bit so you can breathe, it squeezes harder, just to squeeze and squeeze. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? So luckily we have a guest bedroom. So I went to the guest bedroom on the other side of the apartment to kind of like deal with this. I'm banging the wall, like, oh my God, what is going on? So I'm banging the wall.
This is serious.
Yeah.
You're banging things.
Yes. So I pass out because I remember I
literally pass out.
Yeah. And because I didn't know where I was when I kind of like came to, so to speak. I'm like,
Wait. Had you ever fainted before in your life, or was this the first time?
I
Oh no.
but let me
Because
tell you,
people are either fainters or they're not. I've
Yeah.
never fainted. So
well, I never like involuntarily fainted, but I remember when I was a kid. I remember what the feeling is like because I don't know if you guys ever did this when you're kids. Well, like you play this game where you exhale and someone squeezes you,
Yes.
and you lose all the blood that goes, and you pass out.
Wally, there's something wrong with you and I. I think we're like the only two people. Ellie's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I would
Like,
never
yes, I
do
played
that.
this game too, where you would make each other pass out. Probably wasn't very safe, but
No, it
but
wasn't.
we did it, didn't we?
Yes. And so that's when I was like, oh my God, because I remember that feeling because I remember waking up when I was a kid, like, oh my God, that was scary. And so into like, where am I kind of thing. And that's what happened. I was in the guest room and I kind of like, where am I? I'm like, oh man, I passed out. So I remember I couldn't inhale because if I inhale, it would get tighter, you know what I mean? So I remember I can only like whisper, and I'm calling my wife, you know, I'm like, right?
which is like a nightmare. Like when you dream that you want to scream and no sound
And you
comes out.
can't.
Right. Yeah.
So you're living a nightmare in this moment.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's confusing. It's just really confusing. Like, why am I in this pain? You know, why did I vomit? You know, like I've never been in this place. So I'm trying to. I remember waking up like, what is that noise? You know, and I'm like, I'm at the door like, right, and she's like, what is going on? I said, I got this pain, and yeah, the pain. So what we do, she calls, she has this service, like nursing service, whatever. And so they ask, it's almost like a triage kind of thing, but like, you know, on the phone. And so I'm telling my symptoms, whatever, and says, well, you need to go to the hospital. So we called 911 and called for the ambulance because I couldn't even walk.
Yeah.
And I'm just laying in the bed and it's like, oh my God, this pain, I'm sweating now. And like, you know, and I'm getting like lightheaded because it's just like, I can't believe this, how painful this is. And so the ambulance comes and they want to put me in, and not, oh, by the way, any position I'm standing, laying down, sitting is not comfortable. I can't,
Right.
you know, it's just nothing's comfortable. So they asked me, can I walk? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I can walk. And so it took forever to get to the elevator and took forever to
Thank
walk
God
through
you had an elevator.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And you're not like in a walk up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it took forever, yeah, to get through that lobby, you know, and get out the door. And then they had to put me on a gurney to get into, you know, into the ambulance. And they put oxygen on me. And I remember just the pain was just, I couldn't believe how painful this thing is. And so I get to the hospital and it was Sunday morning. And so it wasn't as crazy, you know, usually like on the weekends. So I think things kind of died down, whatever, from the craziness. So I remember talking to a nurse and I'm describing the pain and I'm sweating, you know, and she says, you have a kidney stone. And I'm like, wait, how do you know that? She goes, I've seen kidney stones. She goes, actually, and she says, I'm not the doctor. I can't say that, but you have a kidney stone. And I'm like, oh my God. And I said, I never knew. She goes, yeah, the most painful experience anyone would have. And she's saying she had children and she had a kidney stone. And she said a kidney stone is worse than giving birth.
I was going to say, I have heard that it's akin to giving birth is what I've heard.
Hey, I haven't given birth, but I kind of did. Well, I'm gonna get ahead of myself.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this pain was, oh my God, so much. So I'm laying in the gurney on my knees and like you know like like this,
like in child's pose.
Yeah, but it's almost like a fetal position, but on my knees and elbows, like you know, just trying to figure out what position I can be in
to be in the least pain,
least painful. So you know, I passed out twice in the hospital.
Oh my God.
And to be honest with you, passing out, it was like, thank God. I felt myself passing out. I'm like, okay, good. I'll have some.
Relief.
Exactly. So I was looking forward for me to pass out. You know what I mean? Because it was just so painful. So,
and they don't like give you a shot of lidocaine or anything like that. Oh,
no.
sorry, I'm getting ahead of you. Okay.
Yeah. So the nurse says you're gonna need morphine, right? And I never had morphine before, and I'm like, fine, whatever. This is gonna stop everything, you know. And she goes, yeah, but it has to be. You know, the doctor has recommended. There's a whole lot of paperwork.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, so so they're they do the thing They give me the IV. They put it in the bag, whatever. You know, probably I would say like 10, maybe 15 minutes. The pain is gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Morphine, ladies and gentlemen, is amazing.
Yeah.
So now that pain is gone. I'm on like a higher level of consciousness. So I walked through the whole emergency room asking people, you know, what's your ailment? And I figured that I could, you know, like heal them through the
Sure.
Obviously.
Yeah. You were now Jesus.
Yes, I was. I was like, you know, and you, my child, what is your ailment? Here, let me try this. And you. Yes, let me
loaves and fishes are appearing. I don't know. I'm Jewish.
Washing people's feet.
I'm assuming.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then the guy next to me in the bed next to me, he's like, nurse, can I have what he's having? I want that.
Oh my God.
So now I can talk, I'm conscious, whatever. And so they have to do the x-rays and they have to do the CAT scan to find out, you know, how big it is and all that stuff, you know. And so they do the CAT scan, and the doctor, who's a really cool dude, he shows me, he sends it to me on my phone actually. And so one kidney is swollen, the other one's like, you know, like a regular size. And then he says, look right there, and right at, so there's like, I don't know if you can see this. So this is my kidney, and there's like the tube that comes out of the kidney. So right there, where the bottom of the kidney, what joins the tube, is like a plug. Yeah. That's where the stone was. The kidney stone blocking anything to go through, and so the kidney doesn't know any better. But so what it does, it contracts to push any of that fluid or urine through. So now that's when I'm getting the contraction of like, get this through. So every time I contract, I'm like, oh my God. So they look at it, and they said, listen, we're gonna give you this thing called Flonase, where it dilates your tubage and
your tubage.
Yeah. That's, I didn't mean to get too technical in medical terms, but
no,
you know,
tubage is perfect.
Tubage is perfect, yeah.
Yes, okay. So I'm like, okay, fine, So I'm still on the morphine. I'm having great conversation. Blah, blah. I'm fine. I'm like, yo, just give me morphine, and I can,
I'm golden.
Yes, exactly. You know what I mean? I can pay bills. So
pay bills.
The best time to pay bills is when you're on morphine.
Yeah, exactly.
And call people.
Right.
Anybody.
Because it doesn't hurt as much, you know.
Sure.
So now, so my wife and I, we leave. You know, we go to the diner. We have some breakfast. You know, I'm like, wow, what a time that was, huh? You know, I'm like joking with her and all that stuff, right? So we get home. Oh, I'm sorry. So then he tells me that it's definitely small enough that I can pass it. Because that's what they want. You want to do it naturally.
Yeah, they don't.
Last thing
no surgery.
Right, exactly. Or there's like a sonar thing where they break it up.
Yes, to little pieces.
Little pieces, and you have to pass those little pieces through.
And you never know, like, when they're all done coming out, because it's so many pieces.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's
a party.
The best time.
Yeah, better than Disneyland. And so,
totally.
So now I get home, and the morphine's starting to wear off.
Ooh.
Yes. So that night, I swear, because I'm trying to, you know, pass it, whatever, I have to do breathing exercises, like when you have contractions, when one has contractions. So I'm pacing the hallway, just
breathing.
And every time I have to go to the bathroom, there's a bowl. I have to go in the bowl, and we had to put like a t-shirt, a white t-shirt. And so I had to, like, you know, pee, you know, in the white t-shirt. And so if I can catch the stone.
Yeah.
And because my doctor wanted to biopsy it, whatever, right? So here I am, you know, holding stuff and looking down and just seeing this go through, So the next day, it didn't go through. And so I'm feeling weird. it's not as painful, but I'm still feeling pain. So I go to the local city MD, and so I said to him, "It doesn't feel as bad." I said to the doctor, who's been a doctor for bazillions of years. It was a really cool guy, and I told him in a kidney stone. I think I passed it, and he looked at me and said, "Oh, you'll know when you pass it." Yeah, and I was like, "Oh." He goes, "You'll know." Right? And he goes, "Go home." He goes, "Drink a lot of lemon water. Just drink tons and tons of lemon water." Basically a tsunami. So it just kind of like flushes it through. And I'm like, all right. So I'm just drinking lemon water, just drinking. And I'm, going to the bathroom like every 15 minutes, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
With the t-shirt, waiting to catch this
It's a
stone.
whole process.
Yeah.
Yes.
A whole
So
messy
now-
process. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so weird. And so now that night, I'm like having this pain, and they tell me to take Tylenol, and Percocet makes me queasy, and I can't have any of that stuff.
Oh,
So
that's too bad.
Yeah, and so
That's
now,
a shame.
yeah, so now I'm just breathing. I'm reliving it now because I'm starting to sweat, and I'm like pacing the floor, and every once in a while, like it will just get tighter, and I couldn't inhale, so I like whisper, So the next morning, I remember it was like 10, 15, 10, 16. Let me tell you something, ladies. Passing a kidney stone is like giving birth to a shard of glass.
Oh, Jesus.
You feel that thing going through your system. It goes from your kidney, and I felt that thing going through. I felt it go down.
Your urethra. You feel it in your urethra, right?
That's the word I'm looking for. You feel
The tubage. You feel it in the tubage.
in the tubage, right? And it's like it has like a switchblade, and it was just going through
It's scraping on the way down, right? Oh my God, Wally.
right,
Oh my God.
all the way. And then I feel it and then I feel this like pain in my bladder, like just under my belly button, and I'm like, oh man.
Oh,
And so then, like I said, around 10, 15, 10, 16, I got the bowl, and let me tell you something. It felt like this. Like someone slashed me inside my tubage, and the pain was so bad. I got on my tippy toes, thinking that I'll get over the pain. I could elevate, I got higher elevation.
you could like leave your body.
If I could just float above the toilet bowl.
Yes, and I went oh, like that, and I looked down, and I saw like a little piece of granola on the t-shirt, and I said, I think that's it. And I'm thinking to myself, I think that's it. Like, dude, you've been peeing in a bowl for the last 2 days. That's it.
That's it.
Right.
This
It
tiny
looks
little
like-
thing.
Yeah, it's a tiny little thing, and it looks like I said, it looks like a piece of granola. And I remember calling my wife. I'm like, yo. She's like, what? And I'm like, I got it. It came out. She's like, no, it didn't. I'm like, yes, it did. She didn't believe it.
Did you take a picture and send it to her?
Yeah, I brought her in. I said, look at this.
Wouldn't it be great if it turned into a diamond or something? So
Oh
it'd be
my
worth it. Like
God.
if you
Pearl?
just you passed a little pearl or a diamond, and you're like, I've been through this excruciating process, but at least I've got this beautiful jewel.
Dude, that's funny. I'm gonna use that in my act. Thank you.
You're welcome. For free.
yeah.
It's all yours.
Yeah, and then you have something to look forward to. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
then it'll be
Or
like,
you could like sell it like if it were
Yay!
valuable.
Exactly.
And you're like,
Well-
I just made $100,000
Exactly.
Out
But-
of my tubage.
out of my tubage.
on my tubage. So then about 3 weeks ago, it happened again.
Oh my God.
And I remember all of that. It was a Friday night. Going to an emergency on Friday is the worst because, craziness, whatever, and everything's a priority because my situation isn't life-threatening.
No.
It's very, very painful, but it's not life-threatening.
Yep.
So I'm trying to get morphine, but I'm not sweating. I'm not passing out, right?
You haven't
They're
been
like, "Oh,
shot.
right. Yeah. Oh, so they said they give me Tylenol, right? And I'm like, Tylenol. I took that Tylenol. My kidneys were like, oh.
They're like, this is a joke, right?
Yeah, they took it like candy, like num 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 num, But yeah, and so here I am in this pain, but I kept getting pushed back because they had a gunshot. Someone came in with a gunshot, so they had to take care of that. And then 2 people came in who got stabbed. So I had
Tell her, where do you live
It's a
again?
perfect Friday night.
I live in Harlem.
It's New York City.
It's
It's
New York
all,
City.
doesn't matter where you are in New
Doesn't
York
matter
City.
where.
It's all a
Right.
shit show.
Yeah.
And so then I'm thinking, all right, so the stabbing, the
The
shooting,
gunshot wound.
right? Okay, I'm next, right? So I'm kind of like gearing up to be next, and then like, oh, heart attack, and so I had to sit back down and wait. So I'm getting really frustrated, and I'm feeling the pain, whatever. And I'm talking to them, and I'm like, I know it's a kidney stone, and it's the same pain. They're like, oh, okay, I've been through this. And here's the crazy thing: waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm like, you know what? Let me go to the bathroom just to see, and went through.
Did
And
it.
Oh, so
and that's the
lucky.
worst. But that's the worst part, though, because it's
Yeah.
like a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you get that slice, and then and luckily I felt it. I got a jar. I mean, a plastic cup, and I did my business in there, and boom, it was where I'm like, I'm out.
I'm out.
I got it.
Yeah, but
Was it granola again? Or
It was
did it look
granola.
like, okay,
looked like
weird.
Not a
Look, look.
diamond or a pearl.
no, it wasn't a diamond or pearl or sapphire. But this time, though, which I thought was really strange, was that my kidneys were sore for like the next 2 days.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, was there another one in there? And it wasn't as big, and it went through. But as soon as I passed it, probably like I'll say like a half hour later, I definitely felt relief. But like I said, I felt the like I can feel on both sides. I can feel my
Yeah.
kidneys like
Contracting.
sore. So, but yeah, this
And
okay.
so wait,
So
were you just like peace and like left?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I said, where do I sign? And I had.
Oh my God.
Do you have
Do you
it?
have it?
You listeners, ew. Wally is holding up a Ziploc bag with one of those urine collection containers that's
You can
full of
see
a dark colored fluid and a
There's a kidney
fucking
stone in there somewhere.
granola
It's
in there
there.
somewhere. I can't believe you gave us a visual, but I love that.
I love it. I
love
was
it.
hoping. I was actually
Did
secretly
you,
hoping for this.
the key question here, Wally, is have you named it? Because if you gave birth to it, you should name it.
Rocky.
Rocky.
Perfect. Perfect.
Well done. Well, welcome Rocky to this earth, and I hope that you are the last of Wally's
Oh,
children.
please be.
Well, here's the problem.
Oh,
Once
no.
you have a kidney stone, you're susceptible.
That's right. You're prone. We've learned a lot today. We've learned about the benefits of morphine.
Yes.
I
Oh,
would
Lord.
never
and
have.
Ellie, you
Yeah.
learned about people passing each other out as teenagers.
I mean, I hope my child doesn't learn this because that just sounds stupid as fuck.
And dangerous.
Your kids, of course.
I mean, I guess it prepared you for passing out, but it's odd. And also, if I was going to picture a kidney stone and describe what I thought it would look like, granola isn't the first word that would have come to mind. So now I feel like I have a new mental bank of
Very specific.
images.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of want to poll people and say, did your kidney stone look like granola?
Granola.
Like, is there a range?
That's a good question to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
got to be a spectrum, a granola spectrum.
Right. Mine looked like a seed. Mine looked like a piece of quartz. Mine was granola. Why was yours granola? I don't know. These are
Yeah.
questions we're not going to answer today, but I don't think we need to. So I'm so glad you shared that with us. I'm so sorry that happened to you. I really hope it doesn't happen again. But, wouldn't it be amazing if next time we could just Instagram live through the entire process?
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Post
I mean-
morphine. Post morphine.
Post-morphine.
That's what I want. That's the vibe I want. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't have to be with us, but next time, I don't want it to happen again. But if you do get morphine again, I really think you should document it for your own socials. I mean, people should see you in that state. I think that's gorgeous.
Oh man, it's like I said, it's not fun. You start to, rethink your life choices,
Sure.
what's important,
You got your bills paid.
yeah, you pay, they got my
You
bills
pay all your
paid.
bills.
Yeah. You try to when I'm that kind of pain, my comedy level kind of drops where I'm not as funny, but I feel I'll be funny if necessary or when necessary.
Because what else do you have?
What'd you say?
Because what else do you have?
What else do I have? Exactly. If I don't have my jokes, yeah, I have nothing.
My husband is not a comedian, but he does like to drop a joke with a medical professional. And when he got his colonoscopy, when he woke up and came out of his anesthesia, the nurse said, "How are you getting home?" And he did not miss a beat and said, "Bike." And she looked at him like, "Are you?" I mean, I was there. I was sitting in the lobby. We were going to take a taxi home, but he just was like, "Bike." And she was like, and he's like, "No, no, no, I'm just kidding." So, fucking with the medical professionals is one of the few joys we have when we're in pain and a vulnerable situation,
True,
for
true.
sure.
But I'm sure they've seen it all, with these.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
With the
yeah.
gunshots and the stabbings and the heart
Oh
attacks.
my God.
Yes.
Wally, I
Yeah.
love you and I missed you. And I'm so glad you bared your kidneys for us today. Listeners, if you want to find out what Wally is up to and where you can see him live, or perhaps pictures of his son Rocky in a jar, you can search his name, Wali Collins, spelled Wali Collins, at Instagram, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. We will post all of this in the show notes so you can find him easily. Wally, what a delight.
Before
Thank
we
you
wrap
so
up,
much.
Wally,
Yes.
is there anything you would like to promote for yourself before we wrap up?
Well, yeah. I'm working in New York City.
Heck yeah.
Check me out, either the Comedy Cellar, Comic Strip, Gotham Comedy Club. But yeah, just come to my
Your
my
socials.
and the socials and my book. Oh, please.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, please. Check out my book. It's called The You Never Know Book of Encouragements. It's all about helping people if they're struggling, whatever. That book is your buddy. Your book is going to encourage you and help you and just say motivate you to get through any kind of obstacle that appears before you.
I love
Like,
it. We're
like
going
a
to post
kidney stone.
like a kidney stone.
Yes.
We're going to post a link to that in the show notes as well. Wally, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
seeing
man.
your face.
This was so much fun. I'm sad that we have to go, but thank you so much for having me.
Yep. Thank you.